warm welcome to you here on TV News Hour, this hour on TV Sapiencia. The top stories today. From the weatherman, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from today Monday to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. At least 76 people have been killed and dozens are missing after a boat carrying mostly Ethiopian migrants sank off Yemen in the latest tragedy on the perilous sea route, officials said today Monday. And in sports, world record holder in the women's 100 meters hurdles, Toby Amusan cruised to victory in the event at the 2025 Athletics Federation of Nigeria's National Trials at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos. My name is Chioma Vic Chwemeka. Now the news in full. We begin from the weatherman, that's the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. They predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from today Monday to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. NIMET weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja envisaged morning thunderstorms on Monday with moderate rains over parts of Adamawa, Taraba, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Jigawa, Kano and Katsina states in the northern region. The agency envisaged cloudy skies over the southern region with chances of light rain over parts of Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Ogun, Edo, Delta, Lagos, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom and Bayelsa State during the morning hours. According to it, light rains are expected over parts of Abia, Imo, Ebonyi, Anambra, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Ekiti, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Lagos, Cross River and Akwa Ibom State later in the day. The agency anticipated the high possibility of flood occurring over parts of Oyo, Ogun, Edo and Delta State during the forecast period. NIMET urged the public to avoid driving under heavy rains and state with the possibility of flash flood to activate the emergency response system immediately. Airline operators are to get airport-specific weather reports, that's flight documentation from NIMET for effective planning in their operations, it said. The agency advised the residents to stay informed through weather updates from NIMET by visiting its website, that is www.nimet.gov.ng. Away from the weatherman, the National Emergency Management Agency has recommended contingency plans for State of the Federation to address the challenges of flooding and other disasters. The agency's head of operations for Abia and Imo, Mr. Nnamdi Igwe, made the recommendation while speaking with a newsman in Owerri, Imo State, yesterday, Sunday. The recommendation followed a 5-day workshop for emergency responders on disaster preparedness and flood response. Igwe, who described the workshop as imperative, said that given the rainy season and rising floods, as well as expert predictions, it was necessary for Imo to produce contingency plans to tackle the situation. He added that following the successful workshop, it will be necessary to document group strategies for inclusion in state disaster contingency plans. Away from that story, the federal government has pledged to gazette the long-awaited nurses scheme of service within 4 weeks. The government also pledged to direct the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to put in place modalities for the central placement of nurses for internship. These measures aimed at addressing key demands of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, particularly those related to career progression, welfare and internship placement. This resolution formed part of a memorandum of understanding reached at the end of the conciliation meeting held on Friday, convened by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Maigari Dingyadi, and attended by the Coordinating Minister for Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Party, and the leadership of the organization. Nurses and midwives embarked on a 7-day warning strike on Wednesday to push for demands such as the gazetting of the nurses scheme of service and an upward review of shift allowances. However, the strike was suspended at the weekend, Saturday precisely, following an agreement reached between the association and the federal government. We are following up on the story. We'll keep updating you. We'll move right now to security. The Nigerian Navy's forward operating base in Badagry, Lagos State, has intercepted 7 fiber boats loaded with several bags of foreign parboiled rice on the Badagry Porto Novo Creek. A reliable source told newsmen in Badagry on Sunday that the smugglers were intercepted by personnel of the FOB on Saturday at the weekend. The source said that on site in the Navy, some occupants of the boat jumped into the water while a few were arrested. FOB Badagry has not issued any statement on the interception. It reports that since the new commanding officer, Captain Leye Omotayo, assumed the command of FOB Badagry, operations have been intensified on the waterways with a 24-hour patrol. The synergy and collaboration between the Nigerian Navy and other law enforcement agencies, as well as with the host community, their collective efforts at tackling smuggling activities in the border area has really intensified the work and the activities. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has taken delivery of 15 containers of substandard and falsified pharmaceutical products and tomato paste imported through One Port Harcourt. That's the One Port in Port Harcourt, River State, NAFDAC, in a press statement. Yesterday, Sunday, signed by its resident media consultant Shayo Akintola, noted that the fake products are estimated to have the street value of 20.5 billion naira. The agency said the consignment, which comprised 11 containers of various unregistered banned pharmaceutical products, as well as 4 containers of unwholesome tomato paste, was handed over at One Port in Port Harcourt yesterday. That's on Saturday, to the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojishola Adeye, by the Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeni, as part of the institutional collaborative synergy between the two organizations. According to the statement, Professor Adeye commended the Comptroller General of Customs and his team for joining the fight against the importation of illicit, substandard and unwholesome products. Away from that, we come right now to Anambra State, specifically in Awka. The mayor of Awka South local government area, Prince Chinedu Okafor, has commended Governor Chukwuma Soludo for all his efforts aimed at promoting interstate unity and preservation of historical identity, which, according to him, reflects his leadership values rooted in respect, reconciliation, and cultural harmony. Speaking to newsmen during the historic restoration of Abakiliki Street in Awka by Governor Soludo, which was changed to Club Road by the previous administrations in 2018. Prince Chinedu maintained that the renaming of the street marked the return of tradition and recognition of the street's historical significance. The mayor described the restoration of Abakaliki Street as not only an administrative sagacity, but a symbol of the commitment of Anambra in inclusiveness and shared legacy with her neighbors. Away from Anambra State and Nigeria, at least 76 people have been killed and dozens are missing after a boat carrying mostly Ethiopian migrants sank off Yemen in the latest tragedy on the perilous sea route, officials said today, Monday. Yemeni security officials said 72 bodies had been recovered and 32 people rescued from the shipwreck in the Gulf of Aden. The UN's migration agency said 157 people were on board. The accident occurred off Abiyan Governorate in southern Yemen, a frequent destination for boat smuggling African migrants hoping to reach the wealthy Gulf state. Some of those rescued have been transferred to Yemen's Aden near Abiyan, a security official said. Now, the UN agency, that's the International Organization for Migration, earlier gave a toll of at least 68 dead. The IOM's country chief of mission, Abdusator Essoev, told International News that the fate of the missing ones is still yet unknown. We're following up on the story. We'll keep updating you. Now we move to sports. We are world record holder in the women's 100 meters hurdles. Toby Amusan cruised to victory in the event at the 2025 Athletics Federation of Nigeria's national trials at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos. The 28-year-old fired quickly off the blocks at the Yaba Tech Sports Complex and wheeled away to clinch the first position in a time of 12.57 seconds for her 5th title. Amusan finished ahead of rising star Adobe Tabubu, who came second in a time of 13.14 0.03 seconds, while Faith Osamuyi placed a third in a time of 13.36 seconds. The win marked Amusan's dominance in the women's 100 meters hurdles event as she continues her preparations for the forthcoming World Athletics Championship scheduled to take place in Tokyo, Japan in September. Meanwhile, Gaffer Badmus claimed the men's 400 meters national title, posting a time of 45.71 seconds to finish in first position ahead of Ezekiel Asuku, who ended up in second spot in a time of 46.29 seconds, while David Akalu placed a third in a time of 46.91 seconds. Well, that'll be all on the news this minute. A quick reminder of our top stories. We first of all told you from the house of the weatherman that's the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. They predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from today, Monday, to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. And at least 76 people have been killed and dozens are missing after a boat carrying mostly Ethiopian migrants sank off Yemen in the latest tragedy on the perilous sea route, officials said today, Monday. And finally, sports world record holder in the women's 100 meters hurdles, Toby Amusan cruised to victory in the event at the 2025 Athletics Federation of Nigeria's national trials at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos here in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us on the news this hour on TV Sapienza. My name is Chioma Victuamaka. Thanks for watching and do have a great and smashing and productive day ahead of you. Stay with us.